Sa is a pseudonym, it's not her real name, and she's also wearing sunglasses. This is to try and make it harder for Boko Haram to identify her, because her family, her parents and brothers are still in Nigeria, and they may be targeted specifically because Sa is bravely speaking out. So, Sa, I'm going to ask you to just describe what happened. Just to remind everybody, there were 276 girls, and more than 200 are still in captivity, but some have escaped, including Sa. So I think you press this. I think it's on.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for inviting me here to share my story. The Boko Haram issues in Nigeria, especially in Borno State, was still continuous, so I would like to share my story. On 14 April 2014, around 11:34 p.m., the Boko Haram people attacked our school, and it was night time. We were all sleeping when they came to the school. They didn't come directly to the school, but they came in Chibok town. So we were at school, and we had the Boko Haram people shooting guns, shouting in the town, and we were all students at school, and we don't know what to do. So we all came out from our rooms and gathered ourselves together, and the Boko Haram people came to the school and went through the staff quarters where our teachers are living. So when they got there, they didn't find anybody there. The teachers all have gone, and nobody have come among our teachers to tell us what to do. So they took the motorcycle of our teachers and came in through the hostel where we are staying. So when we had them coming, we were thinking maybe it is the teachers and the security, maybe militaries, to come and help us. Well, we didn't even know that they were the Boko Haram. So when they came in, they tell us to stay together, we should not run. We were thinking maybe they were militaries because they were wearing military's uniform. So when they came in and they gathered us together, and the time we know that they were the Boko Haram, they start asking us some questions. And the question they ask us is that, where is the cement block print machine? Well, we don't know anything about the machine. And the second question they ask is, where are the boys? Well, the boys are not staying at school. They always came to the school in the morning, and they went home after classes. And the third question they ask is that, where are the militaries that are looking for, that are security, that are watching us at the school? And we said we don't know where they are. Before, there were the military people who were staying at school, guiding us, but when the time we started writing our final exam, they always came in the afternoon and left. They didn't used to stay at night. So they asked another question and said, where are the store where our food are kept? And they point two girls among us to go and show them where the food are kept. So they went with the two girls, and the girls showed them where the food are kept, and they went in there. They bring a big truck and load up all the food on the truck. So they tell us we should move out from the hostel and go out to the class area. So when we moved out to the class area, they didn't allow us to take anything out from our rooms or anything. They all start burning the school. They burn everything, our properties, our clothes, our books, everything. After they burn everything, then they tell us that we should move out from the school premises and go out somewhere closer to the school, and they gathered all of us under a tree, and they bring a big and a long truck that we should all enter the truck. Well, the truck was long and we can't climb the truck and enter. So they bring a small car under the truck and ask all of us to climb the small car and enter the big truck. We were scared and we didn't even talk. They said anyone who doesn't want to enter the truck, he should come out and they should kill him. So because we were scared and we don't know what to do, so we all entered the truck, and the truck was not enough to carry all of us. So some of us remained outside and they said they should walk. So we were in the truck and the rest of us were walking, and we reached a small village. We reached the small village and they asked the other girls to still enter the truck because they said we have a long journey, so they can't walk with their foot. So all of the girls still enter the truck, and some of us were even sitting on someone's leg, and 3 girls remained outside. And the 3 girls that remained outside, 2 of them were Christian and 1 is a Muslim. And they asked the Muslim girl, is she a Muslim or a Christian? And she said she was a Muslim. And they asked the Christian girl, she said she was a Muslim. They asked the 3rd one and she said that she was a Christian. And one of them said that since she was a Christian, he's going to kill her. And some of them said no, he should not kill her, let them go home. But he said no, he's going to kill her. He was even pointing gun at her and saying that he is going to kill her. And some of them said no, they should not kill them. And they tell the girls that they should turn back and run home, but they should not turn back and look at them. If they turn back, they were going to kill them. So the girls run and go back home. And they start going with us in the forest. We didn't even know where we are going with them. So when we are going with them, they have a lot of cars. Some of them were in the cars in front of us. Some of them were in the back. So we were in the middle. So there were little bit distance between us and the one that in the back. So because we were in the middle of forest and it was night time, so some of us decided to jump down out of the truck and hide somewhere so that we should find a way to escape. So 2 girls jumped down, and I decided and said that I'm going to jump down out of the truck. I rather die that my parents have my calf and buried than to go with the Boko Haram because I don't know where I'm going. And I tell one of my friends, I tell her this is my decision. And she said, okay, she's going to jump with me. And I jumped down first. When I jumped down, I entered the forest and hide somewhere. So the one at the back have came and passed. So after they passed, we were in the forest and we don't know what to do. We don't know where we are, and it was nighttime. So when we entered the forest, I realized that my friend have injured her leg and she can't even walk, and we don't know what to do, and we stay in the forest and we spend the night in the forest till the next day in the morning. So the next day in the morning, it was morning and we don't know where we are and we don't know what to do because I can't carry her to take her home. So I decided to go and look for help. So when I decided to go and look for help, I was going around in the forest and I found a shepherd in the forest. And I asked him to help us and took us somewhere in the town so that we may find help. We may find somebody who is going to take us back home.
Emmanuel Ogebe, who's sitting here, is a Nigerian human rights lawyer. He helped to bring SAR and 9 other escaped schoolgirls to the United States so they could continue their education there and complete their education in safety. Emmanuel, as I believe that Boko Haram actually means Boko, education or books. Haram is forbidden or is a sin. What do Boko Haram actually want? What are their aims? And what is being done to try and prevent them carrying their aims out?
Yes, Boko Haram is one of the most lethal terrorist groups on the planet today. Right now, as we speak, they've killed more people than ISIS. And data that I just reviewed this morning indicates that last year, Boko Haram killed as many people as the Taliban. We're looking at a total of 10,000 people that were killed last year by this group. Now, Boko Haram means Western education is evil, which means that they go out to destroy schools. They've destroyed over 900 schools. They've killed over 300 teachers. They've killed over 500 students. But apart from schools, they target churches. And so they've destroyed, at this time, over 700 churches. One church congregation alone, they've killed 8,000 of their members. So this is a group that is conducting genocide on the planet. But their official name is People for the Propagation of the Prophet's Teachings and Jihad. So there is no doubt as to their objective and to their ideology. Their ideology is entirely consistent with the ideology of ISIS.
And Emmanuel, when the schoolgirls were kidnapped, which was about 10 months ago, there was an international outcry. We even have Michelle Obama being photographed with a sign saying, "Bring back our girls." So she took, as many others did, possession of the issue by saying "our girls." Do you feel that the international community, the United Nations, the United States, is doing enough to highlight and confront Boko Haram?
Yes, as an advocate who's been working on this issue for many years, I have to say that the global response has been totally disappointing. For example, I led the push for the designation of Boko Haram as a foreign terrorist organization in the US, and we finally got it designated. But the United Nations did not designate Boko Haram as a foreign terrorist group and impose sanctions until after the girls were abducted. But interestingly, the United Nations had been bombed by Boko Haram in 2011, and yet they didn't designate it till we had the hashtag campaign of everyone doing the Bring Back Our Girls. So that advocacy campaign helped a little, but it wasn't enough. When I went on a fact-finding mission to Nigeria, and I met the first girl who escaped, I asked her, "Have you been interviewed by the military, the police?" "No." "Have you been interviewed by the media?" "No." This was in June, 3 months after the girls were abducted in April. That was when I realized that nothing was being done for the girls who escaped. And so very little was even being done for the girls who were missing. And that was when I started the initiative to bring them back to school.
I'll just turn back to Sar for a moment. So Sar, how long have you been now living in America? Do you feel safe there? Are you able to speak with your parents regularly? Are you worried about your friends from school that are still kidnapped?
Yeah, I've been here in America for 4 months now, and my family are still in Nigeria. Well, Borno State is not safe yet because since I came to United States, I've even don't have a chance to talk to my family because I can't even contact them. It was just 3 weeks ago that I started talking to my family. Well, they escaped from the Boko Haram because the Boko Haram attacked the place where they were living, and they even have a chance to escape and move out from there. And now the Boko Haram are still attacking the places in Borno State, and people are leaving their homes, leaving their properties to go and find somewhere to stay. So our family that are in Nigeria now, they were not safe. And among the girls, we attend here, and 2 girls among us lost a member of their families just last 2 weeks from the attack of the Boko Haram, because the Boko Haram attacked their village and they killed a member of their families.
What about politicians? Obviously, you're still a teenager and you're not a campaigner, you're just studying at school. But have you been able to speak to senior politicians? I mean, after all, the President of the United States himself took an interest in your case. Do you feel now that you're in America, have you met senators or even been invited to the White House maybe?
When I came to the United States, I speak, but I didn't have a chance to speak with the president or the senators, but I have speak in there.
She actually met with some congressmen in the United States. She's also met with the president of Nigeria in Nigeria. But again, we haven't seen this issue escalated to where it should be. And I feel that this is one of the most understated genocides on the planet today that is not receiving the attention that it deserves.
If I'm not mistaken, at the same day that we had the Charlie Hebdo massacre in Paris last month, there was a particularly gruesome massacre in Nigeria. Reports say even up to 2,000 people were killed. It's not clear whether it was quite that number, but in any case, it did not get the same publicity, partly because the media was obviously very consumed with Charlie Hebdo. So one final question, because then we'll turn to Pierre, is, as I understand, Boko Haram have got increasing connections and links with other jihadi terror groups, including ISIS. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. You see, the problem is that Boko Haram, while it is an extremist jihadist group, is being looked on by many in the West as a function of poverty and misgovernance in Africa. No. The ideology behind Boko Haram is the same ideology behind ISIS, behind what's happening in Syria and so on and so forth. I want to dispel the notion that this is poverty-driven, because if you look at Libya, if you look at Iraq, and you look at Nigeria, guess what? They're all OPEC member countries. They're all oil-producing countries. So it is not poverty that is the driver. And these groups are all interlinked. As far back as the invasion of Afghanistan, there were Nigerian foreign fighters fighting alongside Al-Qaeda. When Boko Haram first emerged in 2002, its original name was the Nigerian Taliban. And so for any Western individual to claim that this is a function of poverty and that this is not global jihad connected, that is false. Let me point out one more thing. We're very disappointed that, what happened in Baga, where 2,000 people were killed in exactly the same time as what was happening in Paris occurred. Here's the thing. Boko Haram has killed citizens of over 15 countries. Many people don't realize they're not just killing Nigerians. They've killed Norwegians, Britons, Italians, Germans, Koreans, Chinese, so many people. Yet we're not getting the attention that this deserves. So we hope that what has happened in Paris is a wake-up call to humanity, that we've all got to stand up and face what Pope Francis has called the Third World War, which is happening incrementally across the globe.
And just finally, you might want to also add that Boko Haram have recently infiltrated into neighboring countries, Cameroon, Chad, and so on, yes. And also that one of the bombers caught in London who was Nigerian, London in England, of course, was Nigerian and inspired by Boko Haram, and was living in a £600,000 apartment in one of the nicest areas of London. So it's absolutely not about poverty. They're quite a wealthy group, as are ISIS. It's about ideology, what's the philosophy behind Boko Haram. Just finally, because I understand you have to go to give an interview, is there any final message maybe Saar or Emmanuel would like to give, maybe you know, for your friends that are still kept, and some of them we read from. I should point out that other girls who escaped later, Sarah was lucky enough to escape on the very first night she was abducted, but some months later, some other girls escaped, bringing stories of absolute atrocities and hell and rape and abuse of all kinds. So, is there any final message you might want to give to your school friends who are still abducted?
Okay. The message I want to give is that I really want my friends, they were my friends, my colleagues, I really want them to come back, because if I look at myself here, now I'm in the United States. I came here to continue with my studies. Well, my colleagues are still in captivity, and it's like 10 months now. No any serious action was taken about them, and I was here now continue with my studies where they were in the forest. Nobody even know anything about them. I really want help. I want if the United Nations can help and bring back the girls so that we should come and continue with our studies, and to help and bring them back to their family, and also to help our country, especially Borno State in Nigeria, that are captured by the Boko Haram.
Okay. Thank you very much.